Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 78 of Uncovering the Corners of the World podcast. I'm your host, Karina Kasmala. Using research and my personal experiences, where I actually set foot in some of these places, I'll be describing some of the unknown attractions in both the US and around the world. This week, we are driving to Wisconsin Dells, a city located in southern Wisconsin that was originally founded as Kilbourne City in 1856 in honor of the railroad's president. The name was changed in 1931 to Wisconsin Dells, a name that the locals and tourists used. The word Wisconsin stems from the Native American word meaning dark, rushing waters, whereas the word dells mimics the French word that means layers of flat rock, hinting at the rock structures that you'll find there. On the way to Wisconsin Dells, we stop by a home that has an unusual shape and hangs off a cliff, but that doesn't compare to the strange objects that we'll find inside. Located at 5754 State Road 23 in Spring Green, Wisconsin, is the House on the Rock, which was originally owned and designed by Alex Jordan, a millionaire who accumulated a collection of various items like miniature doll houses, antique guns, model airplanes, and crown jewels, among others. Each room of the home is larger, more vibrant, and more unexpected than the last. It's almost unbelievable that it only took 14 years to build this home. The house is divided into 3 sections. The first section is a general room that explains the history of Alex Jordan. The inspiration behind the House on the Rock was that Alex Jordan wanted to build a house that matches the mesmerizing view from the rock that the house was built on. Each room of the home has its own theme. For instance, in the Heritage of the Sea room, the moment you step into that room, your eyes are drawn towards the 200-foot giant blue whale sculpture jumping out of the water with an octopus wrapping itself around the body of the whale. Surrounding the 2 creatures are over 200 model ships, as well as uniforms and other nautical items. There is also another room called the Streets of Yesterday, which is a brick-layered street lined with smaller store shop fronts and businesses like a sheriff's station, an apothecary shop, and a building that stores carriages. One common element that you will find throughout the house is music, where you will find classical music and upbeat marches filling the rooms as you pass by. There are music boxes and full 40 to 80-piece orchestra ensembles throughout the house, but there is not a single person playing these instruments. All the instruments are automated, with mechanical hands strumming strings of a violin or imitating the sound of a flute. It's best to visit the House on the Rock early in the morning, as it takes approximately 3 hours to visit the entire home. Wisconsin Dells is known for its water parks. It's even referred to as the water park capital of the world. But besides water parks, you can also take a tour down the Wisconsin River and walk alongside Wisconsin's natural sandstone cliffs. In the 1800s, large lumber rafts sailed down the Wisconsin River in the Wisconsin Dells. Lumber was transported down the river from northern forests to southern markets. Between 1849 and 1853, lumber was transported by railroad, and pilot Leroy Gates decided to give boat tours to encourage visitors to see Wisconsin scenery. The first type of tour of the Dells looked a lot different than what visitors see today. Between 1849 through 1872, those who wanted to get a tour of the Dells would have to row their boat while Leroy Gates pointed at landmarks and talked about the area. Fast forward to today, and you can take a seat on a double-decker, triple-decker, or the Clipper Winnebago boat, and you don't have to worry about paddling. On the Upper Dells tour, a boat tour that is above the dam in Wisconsin Dells, you'll travel along sandstone formations and stop at the Witch's Gulch, where you can walk across a winding path between the rocks. The second stop is at Stand Rock, which is the location for the famous Leaping the Chasm photo taken by Henry Hamilton Bennett, H.H. Bennett. H.H. Bennett was a carpenter turned photographer who invented a stop-action shutter camera in 1886, which would allow him to capture motion. The Leaping the Chasm photo shows a young man caught in mid-air as he tries to jump from one standing rock formation onto another. Today, a specially trained dog will recreate that scene. Luckily, it's a lot easier to capture that moment on camera today than it was in 1886. Besides the Upper Dells tour, there's also a Lower Dells boat tour that takes you to iconic sandstone cliffs and formations such as Hawksbill and Rocky Islands, located below the dam in Wisconsin Dells. The boat dock for the Upper Dells tour is located at 107 Broadway Avenue in Wisconsin Dells, and the Lower Dells tour is located at 2360 Wisconsin Dells Parkway, Wisconsin Dells. Our last attraction for this week takes us to 1890 Wisconsin Dells Parkway, Highway 12 in Wisconsin Dells, where we board the original Wisconsin Ducks. The original Wisconsin Ducks are six-wheel, 2.5-ton amphibious trucks that were originally made for World War II. For the U.S. military vehicle, the name Duck was supposed to be a code, spelled D-U-K-W. D stood for 1942, the year it was designed. U indicated a utility vehicle, K represented all-wheel drive, and W meant dual rear driving axles. The first Duck tour began in the summer of 1946 and was led by Bob Unker, who owned an Army surplus Duck. Helen Robb owned the land between Lake Delton and the Wisconsin River, but she leased it for the tour. Today, on the Wisconsin Ducks, you'll get an up-close view of Wisconsin's wilderness and then take a dip into Wisconsin's river and Lake Delton on the 8.5-mile journey. On the Wisconsin River, you'll feel a nice cool breeze while seeing sandstone structures such as the Pulpit Rock and a rock that looks like a broken piano. You'll also see the Newman's Dam and Lake Delton. Unlike the Wisconsin River, which is a natural body of water, Lake Delton is a man-made lake. It's also the same lake that in 2008 breached the road that is between the Wisconsin River and Lake Delton. After heavy rainfall in spring 2008, the water level rose to 51.5 inches over the flood stage, causing Lake Delton to overflow and sweep everything in its path. Since then, the lake and the road were restored. Thank you for listening to this week's episode. If you want to learn more about the House on the Rock, check out the website houseontherock.com. To find out more about the Dells Boat Tours, visit the website dellboat.com and the Historical Marker Database, hmdb.org, to read about the Witch's Gulch. Lastly, if you want to learn more about the original Wisconsin Ducks, be sure to visit the website wisconsinducktours.com. Have a great week.